Hello again, YouTube. This is The Truth Man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel. Listen, I want to break down racism in the Midwest because obviously people like the lead attorney doesn't understand that racism is different in the Midwest than it is in the South. Like Southern racists, they actually more comfortable around you than Midwestern racists. Midwestern racists don't want you around, period. They don't want you eating at the same restaurant. And the only time they deal with you is like if you're an athlete. Even like regular rich blacks, they don't want to deal with them either usually. So, or if like you at a fair or a game and stuff like that, they more selective and when they nice about their racism. But one thing about them is they'll stay out of your way. Like here in Milwaukee, you really ain't gonna have no problems out of the racist whites. And if you're not me, you ain't gonna know which ones it is unless you know how to read vibes, because out in the public, they not gonna bother you. You good in terms of being around them in the public. It's when you go to the jobs, now that's a whole nother thing. Why am I buffering? So I highlighted 9 things that I'm going to explain to you that are different in the Midwest. Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Minnesota. The only Midwestern states that I haven't been, well, I've been to the corner of Ohio, if you want to count that, but it's Ohio and Minnesota. I haven't been to those, but I know that they're basically the same. You know, just from my observation, that the Midwest is the Midwest. And so I want to get into this list to help people like the lead attorney who are from the South that don't understand. Pearly is from the Midwest. And her racism, I spotted it right away. Like even before any of this happened, I said, look, she's a suburban white from the Midwest. She should not be in this space. They can't relate to us. They don't like us like that. And the ones that do deal with us is some fetish. They think we all got 12-inch wing ding and they want to get stretched. Not to be nasty, but that's just a fact. So, but let's look at this. Number 1, first thing I got listed is racism is more hidden. Or at least they try to hide it. See, you can be having friendly conversation with a white person in the Midwest that don't even like black people. They don't invite them to dinner. They don't invite them to the weddings, to the parties. They don't like them. You know, that's just Midwest life, man. Number 2, in the Midwest, they're not violent with it. Like, here's an incident that happened. See, now, if you go hunting with some of these dudes, that might be a whole different thing. Because it was, some years back, it was an Asian guy that tried to hunt on the same land as these white guys. And they twisted the story, but I know about the Midwest, man. I know they was trying to hunt that dude, man. And he ended up getting some of them, but he ended up going to prison. And what he said was, they were shooting at him first. But he got them. So in the Midwest, they're not violent with it. They know it is not likely they'll win. Look, man, the way it is in the Midwest, it's like black people, they don't normally come together sometimes until something happens. Now, if you, like in the Midwest, like in Milwaukee, if a bunch of white dudes had a black dude on the truck trying to do stuff to him, people gonna get to dumping at that truck. Pop, 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 pop. It ain't gonna go down. They know that. So they be more sneaky with it. They will try to mask it with kind words and gestures. The whole time, they telling racist jokes in the bar. Like, I know bartenders that, like, they be trying to be cool with blacks. It's just one bar. You work there, you automatically sus. You racial sus. I've been in there. I experienced it. Like they was gonna get the auctioning me on the auction. I got 10 in one. We got one. Like they wanted to auction me. That's how I felt in there. Number 3, hiring practices are one of the main ways they're racist. When a job pay over 20, oh, I'm sorry, but we went with other candidates. And if you dig, they went with white candidates. Mostly. They'll hire like one black dude. Number 4, interracial dating proves nothing in the Midwest because a lot is fetishized. Some dudes be like, they just be wanting to ram some white. White girls be wanting to get stretched by some black. They be hoping he got the down to his knees. And then y'all wonder why some of these women just never be wife material. You just won't. Like, when you get rammed like that, it's going to do something to you mentally. When somebody, never mind. Number 5, segregation in the Midwest is one of the ways they show it. If they didn't have a problem with us, would there be segregation? Right or wrong? In the Midwest is more segregated than many parts of the South. Here you go to the lake, they start leaving. You might not even be a troublemaker. Yeah, it'd be the troublemakers trying to go down there too. You could be a family guy. You got your picnic basket. You take your kids, let your kids play on the swing, they'll still leave. It wasn't like that in Texas. They more comfortable around us down there. That's one thing I did notice, that white people, like, even, they don't be thinking about you like that. Like, even some of the racists, like, they just go about their business. The ones here, they're black. Put their house up for sale instantly. I noticed, like, when I was in Texas, there was a lot of neighborhoods with all type of people in it. Number 6, court system, lopsided judgments. White dude do something, he get out right away. He had a group home, he back home. Black dude do the same thing. I saw one dude get 5 years for doing something that I saw a whole lot of white people go right home with. That's Midwest. Now, of course, in Chicago, one of the worstest judicial systems there is, because of the people they got in charge, they be slapping on the wrist practically everybody. In Milwaukee, they slap some people on the wrist, but they slap the white people that come to the county, because I told you I used to work down there at DT. They slap the white kids on the wrist. White kids, they don't be there. If it's serious and they can't send them home, I still seen kids get 1 year for stuff they could have got 10 years, 20 years for. That's how it is in this Midwest. Number 7, the news. Every time you look, the news is reporting bad things, and then they be putting that little rap music in the background about blacks. They rarely report the good stuff. And that's how it is if you watch the news in any of these Midwestern cities. Same thing. Number 8, car and house purchases. Here, I noticed that it was easier to get cars in Texas than it was here. Here, they won't give it to you just because they don't want to. Like, I went in a car dealership and I already had my lender. And I told them, I said, well, I already got my lender. Just call them and they'll transfer everything. You think I walked away with that car? Nah. Because the only time you got to have like A1 credit in the Midwest to get that nicest stuff. It's not like that everywhere else. It's mostly, from what I see, in Texas, you got a decent job, you're going to get this, no matter what. In Wisconsin, you could have a decent job, have decent credit, and they still going to try to give you the worst interest rate. Facts. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, my mother and father-in-law got A1 credit. And they still, like, if they go try to finance something, they just try to get over on them. How do you make a guy who has A1 credit trade his car in? That's the games they play here in the Midwest. Number 9, the sneaky, I'm better than you, indifferent attitude. This is like the main thing they do right here. You can't stop somebody from thinking they better than you. But when you try to say that somebody like just Pearly ain't racist and she just a product of her environment, that's how they view us. They'll deal with us as long as we making them money. They'll throw some of it down to you as long as they getting the most of it. No. She can't be in the ministry no more, man. She don't even know enough and she's too young. She should be still learning. If you want to learn how to be a wife, that's cool. That's wonderful. But you shouldn't be telling nobody, talking about she looking out for men. Okay, then you must have had a mental lapse when you start saying you don't believe in reparations. Because if you don't believe in reparations, then are you looking out for black men? Talking about, it's like punishing us for the sins of our ancestors. Y'all punishing black people for the freedom of our ancestors because they didn't want us to be free. These people is goofy. Rich goofies, poor goofies. You can be rich and still be as goofy as you want to be. I see them all the time. There's been a couple people I'll be like, man, why are you ordering stuff? If you don't want nobody to come to your house, why are you ordering stuff? You can't pick who deliver your stuff. But there you have it. Those are the 9. I'm going to make a short for those of you with shorter attention spans. Hopefully I could get through this list in the short. So stay tuned. This is The Truth Man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel.